Dad and Mom suitcase farmed out here for about maybe 3 years. And then they moved out here.
When they suitcase farmed, the stories that they would tell me is they had an in and a one-way, and they'd load it on a trailer and they'd haul it between Raymond and here and Ingalls. And they'd farm in Raymond, then they'd come out here, and then they'd farm here, and then they'd go to Ingalls and farm there and drag that with their sheep check. And that's how that would be suitcase farming.
So not just the suitcase.
Yeah.
It was the equipment.
It was everything that came with it.
Just hauled the farm as they went.
I've always enjoyed it. It's never really been a job for me because I've enjoyed doing whatever. Participated in 4-H and FFA at school. In our projects, in the shop part of it, then we could build whatever we wanted to build.
We still have the cattle trailer he built in shop class in high school.
Okay.
And I was still using it 5 years ago.
All
If
right.
you put tires on it, you could still use it.
I've had my ups and downs with it, but mostly ups because I just enjoy, I like to farm. My dad farmed. My dad was also a custom cutter. And my mother's people were farmers. My grandmother was a farmer. They homesteaded in Boy City, and so they had farm ground, and I still have it.
So, my grandma had a couple of quarters that they owned, and Grandpa had passed away. And so when I was, a few years earlier, but when I was about 13, they approached me and asked me if I wanted to farm those 2 quarters. And I said, yeah, I'd like to farm those. And so I did it all through high school, and then kind of through college, came back and did it, and of course helped with everything else. It wasn't like that was the only thing, just do that, but it was that on top, and so I got a little bit of extra money for having a crop versus just going to work. And so I think somewhere while I was in college, he kind of just thought that was, I always thought I would come back, I just wasn't sure when and how.
I was just driving around the country when I left New York. I just wanted a couple years to explore. It was interesting to see all the things I thought I knew, that I didn't know anything. And it was a real test, and it was interesting and exciting. And then I love the generations of the history. The fact that our daughter goes to the same school her dad and her grandfather went to, and her great-grandmother taught at, and her grandmother.
First thing, you gotta be honest with yourself and with other people too. There's no difference, you know that. In our case, I was really lucky I got a wonderful wife that knows and knew how to do things or learn. And we both worked really hard. Also, you got to believe in yourself, and I believed in myself, in what I was doing. My approach has always been to spread your risk. We have cattle, well, wheat's our main product, or was when. Now we grow a lot more fall crop, but we had wheat, corn, milo, cattle. I've also recognized the need for crop insurance, and what you're not going to make money on crop insurance, but it keeps you in business. And as long as you use that attitude, I think it's a wonderful product. And if you think you're going to make a living off of that, crop insurance, you're wrong. But it'll sure keep you in business. And like a year like this year, we don't know how that's going to be. Another thing, we've never been afraid to pay income tax. And I know there's a lot of people, and farmers are pretty bad about this, They don't want to pay any income tax. And there's, it's not that I'm fond of it, but there's advantage. If you're paying income tax, you're making some money.
Seemed to be that it was always important to understand, you know, where your expenses were, and it wasn't so much what you were gonna make as what you were gonna spend. That was the key lessons for all of my life, still is, you know, it's not, don't look at the end, it's what you're spending, and then recognizing that there's some kind of room for the profit. And you can be profitable at a lower production level and profitable at a higher production level, and they can be two entirely different things. But pick where you're going to be, and then, you know, you can manage your risks, like you said, you know, whether that's through, you know, not always having the most inputs into your crops, or you know, the highest, fanciest cattle, or, you know, whatever. But it was part of managing that, and if you made a profit, then that was the goal, was to be able to have that, not to have, you know, bragging rights in town.
Valuable, because it's reasonably priced. Now, yes, you get data, but you know, we get some value out of it too. And I'm talking more on the tax side of it.
I think it offers a lot of value, and on the tax side, it's something that the tax code is so complicated. Having somebody to call that's schooled in that gives you some confidence in knowing what you're doing. You call and you get an answer, and there's a system where you can work your way up to as high as you need to find the answer that you need for somebody's situation. In my opinion, it's a little bit bigger than just getting your information back, and appreciating what that really did to how we farm. It really has a lot to do with KFMA and how they fed the policymakers information to make a decision. Then on an individual level, then absolutely having the information to come back and economic decisions, and just somebody to call and say, does this look right? Does this make any sense? You know, having that to get a base on, I think that's important.
That was all. I just always liked farming, and it was good. Still is. Wouldn't trade it for anybody.